Hey guys, welcome back to another gameplay reaction. Today we are doing Battlefield 6, which EA showed off in the early hours of the morning here in Australia. I haven't seen this trailer yet. I'm not the biggest Battlefield fan, but I've always been open to trying them. Rumor is that this one might even come to Game Pass. So I thought I'd check it out and react along to it. Let us know what you think in the comments below. And if you like the video, give it a like as well. Let's get into it. Is this gameplay? I know DICE are masters of visuals and audio with their Frostbite engine. Okay. I thought that was him for a second. It just hit the ground. Never mind. Okay, so now it's 2042, so it's near future. Yeah, this will be in engine. I'm pretty sure this is cross-gen too, so keen to see what it looks like on last-gen hardware, but right now it's stunning. Just want to see first-person gameplay. Hopefully. Oh, come on. Vehicles, of course. We're going into space? There's a lot of players on screen right now if this is multiplayer. Showing off a bit of destruction there. Key to Battlefield. Oh, of course. Uh-oh. Okay, if you can ride like a tornado like that, or some kind of maelstrom to like get an upper hand in combat, that would be pretty amazing. Okay, so gameplay reveal coming June 13. Okay, that's not far. What? Hang on a second. That's the date for Xbox's show, is it not? Interesting. All right, guys, so not a lot of gameplay shown. We know the reveal is going to happen June 13, I assume American time, so it might be early hours of the 14th here in Australia, so we'll have to wait and see. First impressions, I think very Battlefield. You know, I'm not a huge fan of the series. I enjoyed 3. I think I dabbled in 4. I really liked the campaign for Battlefield 1 and never tried 5. I think by the time the game released, I just didn't really have an interest in it, and word was it wasn't as fantastic as the campaign in 1. There was more information revealed in interviews and press releases after the fact. So right now, let's head on over to pressstart.com.au where we can read their article, Everything You Need to Know About Battlefield 2042 by Toby Berger. He says, Battlefield's heading back to modern day, officially revealed in the early hours of the morning. Battlefield 2042 is DICE's next fully fledged foray in the franchise. It's coming in October. It's currently slated for October 22, PS4, PS5, PC, Xbox One, and Series consoles, which we expected. Current gen console and PC players will have 128 player servers. Last gen will have 64. I think that was almost expected as well. To add to this, DICE General Manager Oscar Gabrielson said it was all about giving players agency, no matter the size of the map or player count. Quote, the maps we now design for Battlefield 2042 give you options as a player. If you like close combat gameplay, there are specific areas on the map that you're probably going to elect to spend most of your time on. If you're a person that really loves air, land, and sea battles, there are locations that will suit that. If you like that verticality and the crazy only in Battlefield moments, there are also places for you. We've really optimized both the last gen and next gen land masses to make sure that we have that choice for players and that agency to elect how you want to play. He continued, quote, I think that the level designers we have across the studio have done a really good job. They've kind of thought about the challenge from day one and then have been able to design the levels accordingly, end quote. Yeah, so this is something I noticed on Twitter as well. There's no single player campaign. Notable omission is a lack of a single player campaign in Battlefield 2042, rather than dabble in the series war stories mode, which I was a fan of in Battlefield 1 and 5. DICE have elected to focus on the multiplayer and tell a story through that instead. Gabrielson promises there will be narrative threads and storytelling in the game's multiplayer, however. This is a bit disappointing. Obviously, I just noted at the start of the video that I really enjoyed the Battlefield 1 campaign. I really liked Battlefield 3 as well. And not to say that I didn't enjoy the multiplayer portion of the games, but I just really enjoyed the story that they're able to tell in those campaigns. So to note here that they're going to tell the story through the multiplayer, I have immediate flashbacks to Titanfall 1, where EA had noted then that Respawn was going to tell the story through the multiplayer as well, and there was no single player campaign. And that was really disappointing. In fact, I'm not sure anyone could really, tell you in a really short summary what the story of the first Titanfall was. Whereas with Titanfall 2, it had a dedicated single-player campaign, one of the best first-person shooter campaigns of last generation, many would argue. So it's really disappointing that we're not going to get that for Battlefield. So anyway, that's the way they want to play it. I don't blame them for, pursuing multiplayer purely with Battlefield. Clearly, it's working for a lot of other big titles in that space, like Fortnite and Apex. So look, disappointing, but not totally unexpected. This next bit speaks to the dynamic weather events that will cause chaos in the multiplayer space. Accompanying the near future setting of Battlefield 2042 is a slate of natural disasters that will plow through each of the game's sprawling maps. If you caught the reveal trailer, you'd have seen the giant tornado that propelled all sorts of debris and vehicles across the place. Expect things like that, a massive sandstorm, tornadoes, and other dynamic weather events to play a major role in making the 2042 experience something quite a bit more intense. It's worth noting that players will be able to use that tornado to propel themselves off towards another part of the map, as long as they have the wingsuit, of course. So that's really interesting. Like I noted at the end of the trailer there, if we can take advantage of weather systems like that to mix up the gameplay and perhaps give ourselves an advantage in gunfights, I think that's going to be pretty cool. Another twist for Battlefield is the new specialist system. So there will be 10 to choose from at launch. Each specialist will have a trait like a movement sensor or being able to move faster while aiming, and a special ability, while you can quickly identify who's a medic or assault focused character. Specialists will be named characters with some backstory. So that's a bit different. Maybe playing into, Rainbow Six Siege like characters or operators that have their own backstory and specific gadgets. I find that really cool. Further to this, you'll be able to equip any weapon in the game, no matter who you pick as your specialist. This will give players more of a chance to muck around with different weapon and ability combinations, like a medic wielding a sniper rifle or an engineer parading around with an assault rifle. The system's a lot less rigid than in previous entries in the series, and that's looking to be a fantastic change. I think that's really exciting. I really enjoy Rainbow Six Siege, and I'd welcome the ability to have these new specialist classes, but still have the flexibility of being able to use any weapon that you like. So that's pretty exciting to me. A new feature they're implementing is the Plus system, which will allow you to change weapon attachments on the fly. Press Start notes you'll be able to select a handful of different attachments, stocks, and grips, and hot swap them whenever you like. So clearly, hopefully, these weapon attachments really mix up, the gameplay or the specific gunplay of whatever weapons you're running. If it's only minor changes, then maybe that's it won't be necessary. But I think the most obvious adjustment you'd like to make on the fly is potentially to scopes, depending on what type of engagement you find yourself in, whether it be close combat or long distance or medium range or whatever. So that's kind of cool. Battlefield 2042 will allow you to play matches with a lobby full of AI opponents as well. Modes like Conquest, for example, can be fully loaded up with AI players rather than actual opponents. This will prove extremely helpful for players who are new to Battlefield and want to get a feel for how the game plays before throwing themselves into the real chaotic experience that 2042 offers. I think that's a really smart inclusion, for those people who might not have experienced Battlefield in the past and might be a bit intimidated, diving into a server with 127 other players who, might know exactly what they're doing and have a really good understanding of the map. I think this is a great way to ease in new players like myself who, haven't, had a great deal of experience in Battlefield multiplayer, over the past few years. So I'm diving back in, somewhat as a fresh player, looking to have some fun and not be, shot down by, people who know every inch of the map intricately and can really take advantage of that. So I think it's really smart. It's a really smart way to onboard new and returning players who might not have experienced Battlefield in a long time. Breakthrough and Conquest are set to return. Press Start notes, unsurprisingly, two of the series' biggest and best modes will make a return in 2042. Breakthrough and Conquest form the all-out warfare portion of Battlefield 2042's three major pillars, with Hard Zone, an only in Battlefield squad-based experience that has specifically been touted to not be a battle royale, the second. The third pillar of the game's multiplayer experience hasn't had much revealed about it as of yet, though it's being developed by DICE LA and is said to be a love letter to long-time Battlefield fans. More details on 2042's third mode will be announced at EA Play Live in July. So that's all really interesting. Good to know that we'll have a variety of modes to choose from. Interestingly, DICE LA is leading that one. I believe Vince Zampella is who hails from Respawn and previously Infinity Ward, is overseeing that studio as well. So maybe he can lend his expertise to that studio as well in concocting this third pillar that they speak of here. And of course, we'll find out more information in July at EA Play Live. There will be 7 maps available at launch of Battlefield 2042, which I think is a good number. I think the fewer maps there are, the stronger that they potentially can be, right? Like the developers can choose to focus more intimately on these maps. I think long gone are the days that we find ourselves, with brand new multiplayer experiences shipping with 10 plus maps. I think Valorant, shipped with 3 maps at launch or just a couple. So look, I think it's a really good way to onboard players, get them understanding the maps and not feeling overwhelmed, particularly for the casual fan base. So I really like the fact that we've only got 7 from the start. Here's hoping that there's a great deal of variety across those 7 maps. Unsurprisingly, there will be a battle pass for Battlefield 2042, split up into 4 seasons across the game's first year on the market with free and premium components. I think, best practice, standard practice really across the industry at this point. You will earn new customization items to use in-game on your specialist of choice. So yeah, here's hoping it's only cosmetic items. Obviously, you want to keep the playing field a level for all players in the server. And finally, there will be an open public beta closer to launch for Battlefield 2042. Press Start notes there will also be a beta for the game's Hard Zone mode before launch too. So look, I think plenty to be excited for Battlefield 2042. 2022. I think it's a shame that there's no single player campaign. That's something I was really looking forward to based on my enjoyment of Battlefield 1 in particular. But listen, I do not begrudge EA and DICE for only wanting to focus on multiplayer. That's clearly where, a lot of these shooters find success for the long term. I think they've got, some really interesting new ideas to bring to the table for this one. And, maybe I'll jump into the beta once it becomes available. So listen, we'll just have to wait and see. Obviously, more gameplay shown on June 13. I'll be doing a live reaction to that as well, which you can find on my Twitch channel, link in the description below, and I'll clip that out and post it on YouTube here so you don't miss it either. Please let me know if you liked this video by hitting the like button. If you didn't, give me feedback in the comments below. I'll be having a lot more content on this channel in the next week or so as I react live to, Xbox and Bethesda Game Showcase and clip all my reactions here. We'll also be doing some more videos based on some, video game industry commentary topics that I want to cover as well. So listen, hope you've enjoyed it. I hope to see you again. Until next time, happy gaming.